Hi, I'm Scott Doonbeer from Act 4 Publishing.
And I'm Kevin Gardner of 12 Gauge Comics. We're here to tell you about our Kickstarter campaign for Jason Pearson's Body Bags Artist Edition. As many of you know, Jason passed away in December of 2022. He was a dear friend of mine, and in my opinion, one of the most talented comic book creators to ever work in this industry. His work for Marvel and DC on books like X-Men, Deadpool, Spider-Man, Batman, Harley Quinn, and so many others was well regarded. But no matter what he did, it always came back around to body bags, his wildly controversial and wildly successful creator-owned series that debuted in 1996. And all these years later, we're still talking about it. Now let me hand it over to Scott, who is the Eisner Award-winning creator of the Artist Edition format. He'll tell you a little bit about that and why he wants to do this book.
Jason Pearson was someone that I worked with over the years when I was the editor-in-chief at Wildstorm. He was a friend of mine. He remained a friend throughout his life. Incredibly talented guy. I wanted to do something that would solidify his legacy, and I thought the best way I could do that was to put together an artist edition. It takes original comic art and prints it in a format that is as close as possible to what the original art looks like. So you're talking about a book that is printed the same size. This book will be 12 by 17 inches, and it will be scanned in color so you can actually see all the little nuances that make original art unique. Everything as close as possible to the actual intent of the artist. And that's our tribute to Jason.
On top of the Artist Edition hardcover, we have two other books we'll be offering in this campaign. Both are 64 pages in length. Both are 8-inch by 12-inch in size and perfect bound. Really nice presentation. The first is called Locked and Loaded, and it is a Jason Pearson sketchbook. It's a convention-style book that has all of his private commission artwork that most people have never seen. The other is called the Artist Edition Plus book, and we're doing that because Jason never sold a single page of his body bags work. That's from the sequential pages, but also the character designs, early concept art, all the way through the final pages he was working on before he passed away.
If you back the book and you get the two ancillary books, you'll be receiving more than 300 images by Jason Pearson that have never been printed in this format. So this is an incredible opportunity. If you're a fan of Jason's, this is a great project.
We've also got some add-ons as part of our campaign, like trading cards and print sets and some really great looking stuff. And also want to say, if you back Jason's campaign in 2015, we have a very special offer for you too. So please go check out our campaign page. Thank you so much for listening to the video, and thank you for your support. Body bag.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wednesday. Wednesday is here. Not Wednesday Comics. Wednesday is here. Wednesday inking. I don't know. John just asked me before this went live, or not before my face went live, whether or not this is in lieu of my Wednesday Comics, and I'm not 100% sure about that. I have not made it to the store today, but I realized, just in the order of events that have to happen, that it's best for me to start this inking now and then possibly make it to my store later if I can. If I can't, I'm going to try. But if I went to the store and then tried to do this inking stream later, well, if I went to the store, did a My Wednesday Comics, and then tried to cram in another inking stream, I don't know if it would have happened. Because Thursday and Friday, pretty much I'm out of commission in the weekend and all that kind of stuff. So Wednesday is it. And I couldn't go through this week without starting inking with you guys here. Really, really excited to do it. I'm going to be trying out the pen nib. Dang it with the focus. The inking nib today, which is kind of exciting, kind of scary, but you have to get into it. I can't just like waffle around and not try it. And if I delayed and didn't do any drawing stream this week, it would get pushed out to next week. Whatever. These are the scheduling spaghetti mess that lives in Rocky's head. Welcome. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my chaos. It's Rocky Ballesteros is my name. We are talking comics, and this stream is going to be right now, at this moment, is going to be about inking a master study of MOEBIUS. I did wake up to, let me just check before I speak. I did wake up to the fact that we are 1 subscriber away from 400. How about that? Is that not crazy or what? That deserves a something. Maybe? We are 1 subscriber away from 400, which blows my mind. I am so grateful for the 399 of you that hit that subscribe button. For anybody who is new and is watching right now, whether that's from me just posting on X to say, hey, come join me, or you just found this through YouTube feeding you stuff, welcome. Come on in. We are going to be doing some fun stuff today. And for all my friends who are already here, like this guy, Mr. Monkey Boy 1969.
How do you say monkey in French?
I'm always so thankful for all of you guys coming in here. Mark's Music Obsession. You guys make it fun. You make it lively. You give me somebody to talk to when I'm doing this. Cranberry Landers, of course.
This is a cranberry, full of power.
Cranberry mentioned he'd be lurking, but whenever you say lurking, you tend to comment a lot. I bet you if I say Kitty Pride, you're going to stop lurking, and you're going to come in strong and just start swinging at my face. So I'll say Kitty Pride 3 times just to get you to comment. Cranberry Landers. Mr. Monkey Boy says my piano is out of tune. Maybe that's the intro music. I am working on mixing that up. I had mentioned that last stream. I'm working on updating some of the trailers and just the intro stuff to this channel just for a refresh. But it does take time. But you did just see that trailer for Jason Pearson's Body Bags Artist Edition. I know a bunch of you guys were talking about too expensive, too pricey. I get it. They are pricey. I've got to spend it because Jason Pearson is one of my all-time greats in my book as far as comic book art and comic book art that I love. Somebody who I'm looking at and just referencing his work and just admiring what he did. He passed away a few years ago, not too long ago, too young, which is sad. But it's also amazing that they were able to put this artist edition together, that they recognize that there's an audience for it, and that Jason, whether he planned this or was very intentional about it, but never sold one of the original pages from that original limited series or any of the Body Bags artwork, from my understanding. So it's incredible that it was all in one place and they were able to gather it and compile it and use it to honor his legacy. Jason Pearson, although he was popular and very well regarded, I wouldn't say he was at the level of, the big artists that you would imagine get artist editions like David Mazzucchelli or Frank Miller or that kind of level. He never reached that level, probably just because of how much output that he had. A lot of those guys who reached that level just cranked out so much stuff for so long. And Jason Pearson's content was less mainstream and more independent. So I think that limited his audience as well. So it's just amazing for them to recognize and to take somebody who is not at the level of a legend that you would think would get an artist edition and put the time and effort to put it together and honor his legacy. And to know that there's enough of an audience out there to support it, like myself. So yeah, I backed that artist edition as fast as I could, and I had backed a previous Kickstarter that Jason himself started. I want to say it was from 2015, a long time ago, never fulfilled. Kind of sad, pissed off a lot of people. But one of the cool things that Kevin Gardner and Scott Dunbier are doing for this artist edition is they are honoring the people who were the previous Kickstarter backers, and whatever the money you put to back Jason Pearson's project, they are allowing you to transfer that into this new campaign. So that's pretty awesome, because when that campaign didn't fulfill, I just assumed, well, just lost, however much money I put into it. And not great, but it happens, right, with crowdfunding. So for them to even acknowledge it, and because Kevin Gardner was friends with Jason Pearson and was part of that campaign, so for him to acknowledge that and to try and respect the people that wanted to back Jason's stuff is such a stand-up thing to do. And so it just made me really want to support them even more. They reached their funding after just a couple of days, not surprising, and now they're hitting the stretch goals, which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to be kind of promoting this book a little bit more for the length of when the campaign is open, just because I want those stretch goals to be hit. A lot of that has to do with they're just adding more pages as the stretch goal levels get higher and higher, and I want more pages. So yeah, you'll see that trailer more often than not in the next few weeks from me. But that's why I put that up there, that Body Bags trailer, and just to mix it up a little bit. And I thought it was a good trailer. So yeah, there it is. Emo Trash, what's up, Emo Trash? Possibly in class, yes, in class. Struggling with inking. That's okay, Emo. We're going to do that together. We are going to do that together. I am a little nervous. I didn't do as much like off-screen prep on the nibs as I would have liked to. I did a little bit. But I'm a little nervous about how this is going to go. So nervous, in fact, that I actually printed out 2 versions of the I'll put my keyboard down. Whoops. 2 versions of the blue line. Oh, I forgot that I'm so tight in. So you can't see the full page, but here's the blue line. Okay, so here is the finished. Check it out. This is the finished. Sorry, it's really crammed in, but this is how the finished pencils turned out. And you guys were there while I was drawing all those dang foreground perspective buildings. So I spent a little bit of time over the weekend trying to fill out the rest of the details there and just tighten stuff up. I actually even used graphite pencil on Galactus here and the word balloons, because I felt like I just had a hunch that based on how I've been converting the previous penciled versions of the Mike Seck drawing, the Michael Golden Master Study, and the Will Eisner Study, when I convert it to blue line and print it out, I noticed that the reds tend to fade out a little bit more. So I just went over it with a very, very thin graphite pencil just to make sure that they would transfer over when I transferred it or printed it out. Here's that middle panel of all those crazy faces. So cool. And then the huge close-up of Galactus's face. This is how it all turned out. So yeah, this was the final pencil. Sorry I could show it on this camera. Sorry I didn't do a wide shot, but that's how the pencils turned out, which is great. It's really, really cool. And then I printed it out, as I do, on the blue line. So here you go. I converted it to blue line, and you can see how it prints out a little bit lighter. Give me a little bit more light. A little bit lighter than, it's all in blue, and it prints out a little bit lighter than the pencil, the actual pencils. Ew, it's changing color on me. I can see it. Stop changing color. I think it's just trying to white balance. This is why I don't like using my iPhone, my old iPhone, for the webcam, because there's no way that I can white balance lock on it for some odd reason. I've researched it. But so you might see it kind of see how that color changes. It's weird. Hopefully it won't happen while I'm inking, but it might. So yeah, here is how it printed out. And again, to go over the process of what I do, I for those of you who are new to the channel, I pick a page, or the chat votes on a page. This was the page that we voted on, the actual MOEBIUS page. I really wish I had a wider shot. And we did a poll, kept that poll open for a couple days. They voted on which MOEBIUS page they wanted to see me do a master study on. This was the one we picked. So then I penciled it, which you just saw the pencils. I blow it up, pencil it at size on a standard 11 by 17 page. And then I scan it into Photoshop. And in Photoshop, I convert it to a lighter, not really for reals, but non-photo blue color like this, which fades it out a little bit. It's still there. It fades it out a little bit so I can see what I penciled. And then this is what I'm going to be inking on, this actual page, on Bristol. And it does seem a little dark on screen. And so I printed out 2 of these because I'm really nervous I'm going to screw up. So I printed 2 of these just in case. Okay, wait, I need to still catch up. I know there's other people. Here we go. John's here. I didn't get to John yet.
He goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
What is up, John? John was asking, like I said, he was asking, is this in lieu of... Oh, yeah, I already went over that. I'm on a loop in my brain. Cranberry Lane just saying, hello, hello. Emo says, this is like paint, but worse. Inking is. You know what? It's not. It's just black, and it's either on the page or not. That's ink. Paint, you got to deal with color theory, colors. That's worse, I think. Hang in there, Emo Trash. We're going to get through it. That's okay to complain. We're going to get through it. Cranberry Langer said he loved Jason Pearson's work. I love Jason Pearson's work. Always amazing. But sorry I don't have 150 doll hairs for you, Scotty Boy. Mr. Monkey Boy 1999 says. That's okay. Like I mentioned in my comments, I forego eating and buying anything else but these artist editions. So one stream you will see me with pages of the book torn out and formed into clothes because I don't buy those either. I love these artist editions. They really inspire me and give me so much joy to flip through. I was just reading through that Daniel Warren Johnson Extremity artist edition the other day. And the amazing thing with that one, I think I'd mentioned this when we were flipping through it on the unboxing stream I did. Check it out on my channel if you want to. There's no dialogue. And I've never read that Extremity story. So I have no context or no story to really read. I'm just flipping through the art and reading it. But it's such a great exercise because you really rely on the visual storytelling to give you enough to like keep going, you know, and you see how much you can infer from what's being shown visually. So there was some stuff that was super clear. Like I haven't gone all the way through it. I'm probably about 70% through it. But I've got a good beat on the story itself. So I'm really excited to actually read the book and see if what I'm picking up from the visuals matches. But you can get what's going on. And I think that's just a testament of like somebody who's a good visual storyteller and can communicate stuff without words. Emochess says, if I'm gypped for a later stream, do consider the fact you'll be getting a repeat of the week before last. Oh no. Oh no. Do I have to take that into consideration now, Emo Trash? It's hard enough to schedule this stuff, like for myself, let alone to think about everybody else's schedule. And now, whether or not I'm going to get like raked across the coals by you. So yeah. We'll see. I do really want to try and make it to the store today. There are a couple books that I'm there are a couple of ongoing books that I'm picking up. So I was like, well, I could skip a stream if they're just ongoing books. But there's a couple new things that I'm excited to get. And also, I did not talk about Absolute Wonder Woman yet, which I still haven't read, but I do want to look through it with you guys. The other thing I'm working on, before I forget, is I'm almost done editing my Absolute Batman closer look video. So yeah, that should be launching. I'm going to try and get that launched before the end of the week. I don't think I'll be able to stream again after today, whether or not I do a second stream or not. But I don't think I'll be able to stream Thursday and Friday. It's pretty impossible. However, I will try and launch that video. So I'm close. I'm close to finishing up editing on it. And I feel like I just have to get it out there because before we know it, Absolute Batman is going to be at issue 2 and I'm going to be way behind the times. There's already people reviewing or have reviewed the first Absolute Batman. So I want to get mine out. Just to be relevant, right? Bye, because I gotta go set up for the next set. Okay, see you later, emo trash. What's up, Timmy Mello? How you doing?
And the Guardians are headed to October.
Timmy Mello, I know you're here for the art, dude, and I so appreciate you being here and you coming regularly to my streams. It's so awesome to get to know you and see you here. But are you watching this World Series, man? It's I'm like, come on, Yankees, like, get it together, people. And I think Mr. Monkey Boy does not like the Yankees. I don't know. I can't remember where you stood on the Yankees. Probably don't like the Yankees as well, I'm thinking, because they took out your team. But geez Louise, this is a one-sided World Series. And I need to see some competition here. So, yeah, I would love to know what you're thinking about that. John saying, I could eat waffles. Yes, waffles. 399 subs. Can we get to 400 during this stream? Maybe. Who knows? Can we? Mark, can you start a third account to subscribe? No, I don't want any fake subs or multiple subs from the same people, which I might already have, right? Let me rephrase that. I don't mind the subs, but it would be nice if they're new people that have never been here before and that want to be subscribed to the channel. But 399, we are on the cusp of 400. Can we do it today? I think we can. One thing I did post yesterday, I posted a couple of shorts, YouTube shorts. One on Sentinel #1. Sorry, I thought it was my cat, but it might be the chair I'm sitting on. I put a new chair here, so I did a YouTube short of Sentinels #1, which is the new. It's kind of like an offshoot in the X-Men universe, and The Moon is Following Us #1. I did shorts on those YouTube shorts, and I haven't done YouTube shorts in a while. I've just been too busy with other stuff, so I was like, just try it again. It's always one of those things where like it's kind of minimal effort. Just put it out there. It gets views. The last few YouTube shorts I've posted, for whatever reason, didn't really get that much engagement. I think it's just a random algorithm thing, but it's always worth trying because it doesn't take that much effort to do. But both of those have been doing really well. I think they're both over 1,000 views. And I want to say those helped get more eyeballs and kind of push the subscribers up to where we are now, because right before I posted those, I think we were floating around 383 or something like that. And then all of a sudden it started ticking up right after I posted the shorts. So who knows? That it could all help. It all helps just to get engagement, views, looksies. So yeah, 399. Can we get to 400 today? I hope so. Aren't we all spaghetti tangled ADHD scatterbrains? I think so. I think trying to do a YouTube thing. Well, YouTube in general gives you a short attention span. Social media in general, the kind of video content we watch in general, give us shorter attention spans now. Content is just being thrown at us at a rapid pace, right? We're heading into the election I mean, my feed is just like flying like crazy with all sorts of posts, regardless of your political affiliation. But it's just going bananas, right? And so yeah, I think our attention span is that. On this end of things, trying to run a YouTube channel needs a lot of multiple things spinning at the same time. So yeah, I think it does give us, whether we have it or whether we are officially diagnosed or not, it gives us a lot of attention deficit problems, and does not help focus. But inking will help me focus, because then I'm just kind of on one task, which I love. I really love it. It really kind of centers me a little bit when I'm just doing something methodical like inking. Cranberry Langers, I think excited because of the subscriber count. Come on in, wrenchers are scarce. John, nice. Cranberry Langers, uh-oh, I see a proportion of caps lock increasing. Oh my goodness, you can't control me, Cranberry says. Are you doing a master study of his work too? Jason Pearson? I've definitely considered it. I mean, I would argue some of the artists I'm doing right now are huge influences on Jason Pearson's work already, right? And they are the legends. They are what have gone before him. But doing one of his, I feel like because he passed away so recently, not that you have to be old and dead for me to do a master study. Some of these guys are still alive. Mike Zeck's still alive. Michael Golden's still alive. I don't know. It's a little. I don't say this because I think I can do the current master studies that I've done. Like, oh yeah, I can handle those. I don't say this that Jason Pearson is different from that, but there's something about it that like makes me a little nervous to try. So I don't know. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but I hesitate, if that makes any sense. If you get to this comment before you've drawn your first line of ink, stop and draw. Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry. Perspective hell. It was crazy. That's too cool looking to ink, Rocky. Thank you. Looks crazy, everybody. It was. And filling in the background perspective, like some of it was just pretty, it wasn't like solid objects, solid three-dimensional objects. You can't quite see it on camera for this background stuff here. But, a lot of them were they almost felt like squiggly lines after a certain point. But, I realized that I couldn't like not look at what MOEBIUS did when I was filling out even these background squiggly things, because what he did was still, even though he squiggled it, what he did was still in perspective. And so if I just like faked it and like, oh yeah, I can fill it in, it just looked off and it didn't look right. So that's scary. And I think I'm going to have to constantly be looking at the reference as I get to that. Maggie's doing well. Mark's Music Obsession says, that's great. Seems to have made it past this medical drama. Thank goodness. So happy to hear that. Michael Bancroft in the house again. What's up, White Sean? Michael Bancroft is here. How you doing, Michael Bancroft? This seems like a good time in Australia for you to watch streams. So good to see you. Thank you for being here. I'm going to greet you, and yeah, it's 2 hours later. I'm saying hello. Antoine Dennison. What's up, Antoine Dennison? Welcome in. Good to see you as well. Now we know Iraqi is a starving art. Yes. It's true. It's real. It's real. Katie in the house.
Say cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
No. A cup of tea.
Katie, are you over your jet lag? Are you back into the flow of things back at home in the UK? So glad to see you. Thank you for popping in. Mark's Music Obsession says, dibs on the multicolored pencil of this page. If it's ever sold, Rocky, Love the look of these colored pencils. Thank you so much, sir. That is duly noted. There she is, Katie, saying hello. Snow's really coming down. No kidding. Wait. DN. Snow's really coming down. Wait. No. Really? Like real snow? Are we talking about the weather? Or is that a phrase that I don't know about? Okay, let me know. Do you like the snow? It's pretty here when it does. Only pretty for a day or two. Then I'm over it. Yes. I had mentioned that my wife had gone out of town. Well, she went to the East Coast, and we've been in the East Coast. Used to live at the East Coast. Went to school in the East Coast, and she was just sending me pictures and videos, and it's just so beautiful. Like she caught the end of the fall leaves, and yeah, just so beautiful. She was like, "Let's move out here," and I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." But I'm like, we need to go back and visit during the winter and see if we still want to do that, because I do remember the winters being tough. I'm like, it's beautiful to look at, but then to live through it and like to scrape off your car windshield, to trudge through it with your groceries, not so fun. So yeah, but I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and snow is beautiful too. So yeah. But if it's really snowing, Antoine Dennison, that's crazy. I can't imagine it, where it would be really snowing right now. Timmy Mello says he's definitely going to buy Absolute Batman issue 2. Me too. I'm in. I'm wholly in on that series. Rocky is talking to Sports Ball. Last night's incident with bets and those, yeah, that was so crazy. I didn't even see that part live, but I've seen videos afterwards. For those of you who don't know, Mookie Betts went out to reach, caught a ball, and his hand, it was like right at the, he plays outfield, jumped up, and his hand pretty much went in front of the crowd, or the, whatever, the stands. And some Yankee fans grabbed his hand, which had the ball in it, pried open his glove, and tried to pull the ball out of it, which was insane. I hope they were all like banned from future games, because that's just nuts. Katie says, you've overtaken me in subs down. Oh, wow. No kidding. Oh, my goodness. That's okay, Katie. We're running together. We're trying to do this together. So you will get up there. I think you were like close to 400 already anyway. So I'll just say it's attributed to you took a break in wonderful Florida, and now you're back to the grind. Now you're going to catch up again. So Rocky needs 1 for 400, and I need 14 so I can live stream. Subscribe to that man, Mark's Music Obsession. Let's do it. The guard in you. Oh, yeah. You're going to go and like tackle some fans to like set them right. Those are like, yeah, it was just crazy. How do they even think? I know in the moment, like reaching out and trying to catch a ball with like player interference, like I get that. But like they were like fighting Mookie Betts for that ball, which was nuts. Really nuts. Michael Bancroft. Okay, shorts are great. I've got to get back into them. Yes, thank you for that advice, Michael Bancroft. I'm pretty sure in your channel you had talked about this a while ago. I do remember watching you mention that on one of your streams about shorts and how you're getting to them. And you were doing a lot of shorts at one time. So I think for me, it's if I can keep the effort level low on shorts and not have to make it turn into a whole nother editing thing. And I know there's apps that help with that and blah, blah, blah. But for me, it's just like if I can keep it low effort, then it'll be worth it for me to keep it, because I think it does get a lot of eyeballs, at the very least, a lot of eyeballs on what I'm doing. So thank you for that advice. My mom is working on the Shanth puzzle I got from Michael Bancroft. That's awesome. That's so good. Short attention spans means we lack discipline, is it? What's up, Cherish Psalms? Good to see you.
What's wrong, little Pookie?
Skibbity Skibbity Banana, what's up? I'm so glad to see you. Welcome in. Doing his master study can be seen as a contribute to society. Oh, okay. As a contribution to Jason Pearson, is that what you're thinking? Like to get people think maybe. If you put it that way, maybe to honor Jason Pearson, to put his name out there more. I just feel like I'm gonna screw it up, and he's gonna come back from the grave and like punch me in the face. I don't know. It's nerve-wracking. Mike Zeck, Michael Golden, Mobius, Rocky is only homaging M artists. I didn't even notice that. Weird. Okay. Maybe. Bancroft's sound effect should be Sean's sound effect. It's like Bizarro Sean. John, you're genius. Yes, the snow is really coming down. I mistyped dam and it came out DN. Okay. Colorado. You have mentioned this before. Beautiful Colorado. Wow, I bet this. I've never been in Colorado during the snow, but I bet you it is beautiful. Wow, coming down in Colorado. That's crazy. We're like, what are we right now? I think we're just like 60 degrees flat here in the West Coast or Bay Area. The guy who stole the ball was banned for one game. One game only? Really? No kidding. They were only banned from game 5 and had their 2000. That's... I don't know. I thought I could see that for like... Yeah, I don't know. That seems a little light for what they did. The only thing stopping me from doing the shorts on comics is lacking the time to read and access. But now most of the big companies are on global comics. I plan on reading a lot more. Nice. Yeah, it's always about time. It really is. But yeah, shorts are fun for that kind of stuff. And the reason I do it is just to like highlight certain books and get people talking about certain books or whatever. So, all right, here we go. I caught up on chat, I think. Please like the stream already, even though I haven't put pen to paper yet. Please like the stream if you can, if you haven't already. It does feel a little dark. Let me see. All right, that's better. All right, so I think... Ugh. Yuck. Hate that. I think I'm going to start on this panel because... Goodness gracious, stop with the white balance. Because I'm very nervous to practice on this perspective panel, and I'm very nervous to start on this because this is like the money shot right here. So I think this gives me enough like detail and big shapes and what have you to... Can you see that white balance like going bananas? Wow, it wasn't this bad before. Huh. I think what it is it sees the brown of the depending on the proportion of the brown from my desk, it's trying to white balance between the brown and the white of the page and maybe the blue. I don't know. Who knows? Sorry, just thinking out loud here. Anyway, I think I'm going to start here. As I had mentioned in previous streams, we're going with the nib on this one. So I've got a couple nibs. This one is what I bought new. This is 2 components of inking with a nib. And the reason why I'm inking with the nib is because I feel like Moebius inked with the nib. Stop it with the white balance. It is freaking out. Oh my gosh. Totally freaking out. Let me see if I can do anything on my side. Brightness, temperature. Can we adjust the temperature? No, because it's just going the saturation. Maybe you guys will see it less if I reduce the saturation. No, it's just totally freaking out. Well, hopefully that's not too much of a See? Now it stopped. Crazy. Sorry. There's two components to the nib. Let's get to the important stuff here as opposed to my own OCD, ADHD about tech issues. It's the nib itself, the metal piece here, and the holder. So these nibs, I didn't really have any specific reason why other than, oh, I'll try that one. I should have done a lot more research in it, but I figured these pen nibs were Kuretake brand, which are arguably very good pens. I've had other pens and stuff. Pen nib for manga, I was like, okay, that sounds reasonable. And came in a set of 3. So I grabbed those. And then the holder is a speedball holder. And it was the cheapest holder I could find. So a lot of my art supply decisions are like, what is the cheapest? And then as I learn, then I start spending more money, like my brushes, on, okay, this brush is worth it. So this is the new nib I bought specifically for inking with a nib. And again, I'm choosing to do that because I feel like MOEBIUS, every time I do that, it's like freaking out. Because MOEBIUS, I believe, inked his page with a nib as well. The lines look like it's kind of a nib quality. So that, I have this. And then the other pen nib that I have is actually an old one. An old holder and an old nib from, I want to say from college. But this is a Hunt 107 nib. So you can see it's a lot smaller than the new one that I bought. And I think it has to do with the feel and the flexibility on the metal and also how much ink it holds for the reason in the differences between these nibs. And I did do a couple tests where I was just inking on a white page. And you guys know how much I really, really love brush inking. Just the feel of it, the process, the quality of line, I love it. However, when I started I was just doing some test lines and I did this kind of cross-hatching stuff. I was like, wow, that's really cool and satisfying. And there is a thick, thin quality to the nib, different than just inking with a regular pen, like a Pitt pen, which I will be using for a lot of that background perspective stuff. I've used these on some of the previous master studies, the Faber-Castell Pitt pen. So the difference between this and a nib is like you just have a uniform quality line. But with the nibs, you can see on this piece of paper, you can get some nice thick thin in there. And it was surprisingly satisfying. I haven't inked with a nib since college, so I kind of forgot how it felt. And since that point, I've fallen in love with the brush. But it's kind of nice. And I can see why it's one of the go-to tools for comic book inking. And I did try both of them, both the new pen nib and my older Hunt brand one, and the Kuretake brand one. And there is a difference. I don't know if it's just age, because this isn't a new nib. This is actually a used nib that I had. So, but it felt a lot more softer or flexible, I should say. This one felt a little bit stiffer. So yeah, I'm going to play around with both of these guys today to just see what comes out, see how it goes. But kind of cool, kind of exciting. And then the ink I'm using, I have a bottle. I would show you this bottle that I'm using. I had mentioned in previous stream that the bottle exploded in my pocket when I bought it, so you can't see any label. So Kohinoor, the brand that made this, if somebody from Kohinoor is watching, you guys need to come up with a better sealed bottle. Wow. I just saw that leak. Yeah, there's something with that particular bottle that is not sealed well. which could be disastrous. But here's a bottle that I haven't opened. This is the brand of ink I'm trying for this page, Rapidograph Ultra Draw, made by Kohinoor. And this kind of ink is used inside technical pens, like you load it into cartridges and use technical pens, or you use it for dip nibs like I am. So yeah, I just wanted to try out this ink. The other ink I was using was the, for the brush, was the Winsor Newton ink, which I liked. That was great. But I just wanted to try a new ink, compare the two, see how they work, if there's a difference in quality, feel. And I picked the Kohinoor ink because a lot of comic book artists, comic book inkers recommend this particular brand of ink. And also, since it's made for a refillable cartridge pen, like almost looks like a calligraphy pen, since it's made for those kind of pens which have a metal nib, I thought that's probably a good sign that it would work well with this nib. So yeah, those are my supplies. One of the things that I'm not 100% sure of is the best way to load it. I think that white balance is going to bother me this whole stream. Just get ready for me to just like comment the whole time about the white balance. See how it's freaking out? I don't know if it's because I want to like put something in here to like catch the white balance, affect the white balance. It's just not having it. Just bear with me, guys. Okay. All right. What was I saying? Oh, one of the things that I didn't totally figure out yet is the best way to load a nib. With a brush, it's pretty self-explanatory. You dip it in the inkwell, gets on the brush hairs, and then you just start inking. With the nib, you're trying to fill it up to the tip, and my understanding is to the like edge or the beginning, sometimes some people say halfway point of this hole here, which holds ink. You don't want to like fully dip the whole thing in there because then it'll just be dripping all over your page, which is, to be honest, one of the things I'm afraid is going to happen. And I've had that happen to me before, of ink just like improperly being loaded on the nib, probably because I wasn't doing it right, and then just like blobs of ink just dropping. Might happen, which would be horrible. So I'm pretty conscious of just trying to get it on there, a good amount on there thinly without overloading this nib. And I don't know, I didn't watch people do it necessarily before this. I should have watched more people do it, but we'll try it out. I'm going to just squirt some ink into my inkwell and lightly dip it in there, kind of shake it out as I do it so that I'm not loading it up too much. And we'll see how it goes. This is what this is for. This master study's for. It's to learn, to figure it out, and to stop the white balance freak out. Okay, I'm gonna catch up. I just see John yelling, "Ink, ink it!" Jeez Louise. Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna ink. I will. It's going. A little nib will do ya. 5:43, up since 5 a.m. drawing. Oh my goodness. Michael Bancroft. Total baller, man. You're doing the White Shanth name proud by being up at all hours, even on the other side of the world. Using ink nibs are such a challenge as opposed to used pens, Timmy Mello says. They are. But the line quality is going to be way better. The ink quality is going to be way better because we're using great ink. So it's going to be good. Yes, I use Kohinoor Ultra Frey. Is that Ultra? Is that the same ink? Do you like it? Might as well throw the pants out. Yes, I lost the shirt, honestly. It was bad. Don't carry ink in your pockets. Yes, it was. I should have known better. Ultra Draw gives a nice flat black. Yeah, that's important. That's really important. I do remember inking when I was in college and using ink, and granted, it was probably not the best supplies that I was inking with. What is the best way to do this? I think I need more ink. But it would get really gunky and like too much. And it would get all over. Yeah, it would be like sticky and sit on the page, like be raised on the page. So you do want a nice flat ink. Timmy Mello says, oh wait, here we go. Sorry. A photography gray card would probably settle that. All right. That's a good tip. I'm going to try that in the future. Thank you, Michael Bancroft. Antoine Denson, many artists keep a sheet of scrap paper next to the inkwell to wipe off the excess. Yep, I got that. Few test strokes. Dip the nib, brush a line, dip the nib, brush a line. That's where we're at. The chat is demanding more, Bancroft. More of your time. They're not satisfied with 23 hours. They need that last hour. Michael isn't white Shanth. Shanth is brown Bancroft. Yes. Depends on what side of the world you live on. Oh, okay. Where's my... I also need this page because I do constantly like to go back and reference the original. Make sure I'm not messing up. All right, so where should I start? Let me see. I'm going to start on... oh, gosh. It's always the first line. Okay, I'm going to start on Chubby Hat Dude. See how this goes. Wow, so interesting, like... Wow, this can get really fine. The feel of this particular nib is stiffer than the Hunt. Yeah, so these lines are really thin. Let's see if I'm having enough ink on this. I think I gotta put way more. I'm so stingy. I like put just a couple drops in there, but like it's not tall enough by any stretch of the imagination, or not deep enough to reach this brush. But right now these lines seem really thin. If you put, the cool thing is like it is stiffer. But if you put some pressure, you can see variance, some nice variance in that line. That's really satisfying. This is why I love working in traditional media. It's not just about the final look of it. It's about the tactile, like you're using so many of your senses. And for me right now, it's like the tactile experience of feeling the pressure of pushing down on this paper, seeing the ink line come out, and being able to control the thickness of the line is very satisfying. So see, I pressed, I don't think you guys can quite see the, yeah, you can't see that. There's a bit of a bead of ink right there because I pressed too hard. So this is the thing with nibs that I do that's kind of reminding me. The more pressure you put down, basically the more ink is rushing out of onto the tip of the nib and coming out onto the paper. The more pressure you put on a brush, just the wider line you get. Oh my gosh. This is... So, as I was trying to get a wider line for this little line underneath this like eye bag under his eye, instead of turning into a wider line like they want, just a bead of ink just came out. So I gotta be careful that I'm doing this correct. And I'm pretty sure that as I continue to ink with this same nib, that it'll start getting a little bit more flexible. It does feel stiff, which is great for super thin lines, but I also don't want to feel like I have to like tear through the paper. I gotta watch some videos of how people load their nibs. I know people that are I've seen people that are really good at nib inking. They just like flick of the wrist. I think more so, well, maybe not more so, but for sure, paper quality is going to make a big difference with nibs, because I do remember, this is all coming back to me, I do remember times I would ink before when I tried using a nib in college, and the nib would like catch on the paper and tear into the paper. So probably because I wasn't using good quality paper. But because this nib is so sharp, yeah, I am not loading up well. I think I need to put more ink in this inkwell. Because this nib is so sharp, a little bit more light. Like whoever designed a pen nib, an ink pen nib, is crazy. Assuming it like was developed, people were drawing with like bird feathers or crow feathers or whatever with like crow quills, but then to turn this, to make a metal device do this, like with the split in the middle and like the little hole there, it's all this science that was built into it. And that we're still using the same kind of tools now. One thing I did notice, or not did notice, was thinking to myself, like the large areas of black, I will probably be using a brush to fill those in as opposed to like a nib. Would make more sense, at least. That's kind of cool, except for the stupid white balancing. Maybe I should, like Michael Pencroft say, put something gray. I don't think I have anything gray. Do I have anything like mid-color? I don't know. Browncraft and white jetty. White jetty. That's amazing. That actually works really well. Walking now, earbuds and phone to not miss the action. Awesome, Mark. You sleep, Bancroft? What? Try not to be successful? Rocky, stiffer nibs aren't always better. Some of us prefer to handle a more... Okay. Noted. Noted. I think some people use lighters to draw. I've heard that. Yes. To make the strokes a little easier. Yes, I've seen people do that. So yeah, I got to figure out the methodology. That's what this is all about. Yeah, but I've seen people light like the tips of their the nibs here. And I always wonder, I'm like, what are they doing? It's like you're doing like drugs. What? What is going on? Maybe I'm watching the wrong streams. I'm like, wait, those aren't pen nibs. Why are you guys lighting those? Yeah, it's already a whole different thing though. I can feel the difference, the difference in look, the difference in feel from the brush. Still figuring out the flow. I'm sure I'll get more comfortable with it as we go, but still figuring out the flow. But it's way more precise, which makes sense. And oh, there you go. Did you see that just split right there? It's because it wasn't loaded up. I think I gotta. I'm just gonna cheap it out here, but I think I do need to put more ink. But yeah, it's just a different feel. It's a totally different feel. I'd be curious to see if I can find some pages or some artwork of artists that have used both, like a page that's a good representation of somebody who's used both brush and nib on the same page. I think that would be kind of interesting. Because I can see them being both good at different things. Being good at different things, not both good at different things. Yeah, this kind of hatching stuff, MOEBIUS does a whole bunch of it for texture and lighting, and I can see a nib being really great for this. The dangerous thing with the nib is when it beads like that, like it just did on this nose. When you touch it again, at least my experience is when you touch it again with the nib, like immediately that bead will like the viscosity of the ink will like glom onto your tip. So when you pass, I don't know how to explain this, when you pass the nib over like a beaded area, all of a sudden it's like dragging all that ink with you. So it's really dangerous. It could get very, if it's not dried all the way, it can get can make a mistake pretty quick. After I finish getting this dude with a hat in a good spot, I'll switch to the Hunt nib. I'm pretty sure it's softer than this Kuretake one I'm using right now, which might be better. But I do know that, or I've found, at least maybe I haven't looked well enough, those Hunt nibs are kind of hard to find. I don't know if they're special order or why they're so difficult. Wait a minute. What What do I see here? I see something. What is going on? Wait. Browncroft is here. Everybody say hey to my brother. Shanth and Jetty Art is in the house. Shanth, what is up, my friend? Inking with this nib reminds me of college. You would not believe. Oh. I just thought of something, Shanth. I was gonna save this, but I might just because you're here. But if you guys don't follow Shanth, please follow Shanth. Please follow Michael Bancroft as well. Subscribe to their channels. But Shanth sent me some images, and he posted on social media too. He sent me some images of the amazing toys he just got of the Incredible Hulk and Wolverine from McFarlane Toys, of those classic comic book covers, both the Incredible Hulk and Wolverine. They look amazing, dude. And thanks for sending those images. I did not buy them. I choose to save my money for artist editions. But holy moly, those toys look amazing. I hope to see them on your stream soon, as far as like in the background, if you have room in the background. But let me finish up at least one character here, and then I will... Shanth, as long as you're here, I'm going to pull out something that you might appreciate, that I just found. So stay tuned. Lighter is to burn off oils that impact flow that are there when you get them new. Okay. I need to invest in a lighter. I don't have a lighter. I stopped smoking crack like 2 years ago, so I don't have my lighter anymore. Hey, Shanth and Jetty Art, you definitely need to see those new Universal Studio Monster animatronics that are rolling out. Ooh, those sound amazing. Shanth has seen them. He says they're incredible. I've heard of people letting their ink split open for an hour before starting to draw in order to dry the ink out somewhat. That's cool. Like to give it a little bit more gum or like stickiness to it, maybe. Yeah. I was here the whole time. You can't prove out there. What's up, Comrade Sammy? The chat ninja coming in, throwing her shurikens everywhere to let us know that she is around. How are you doing, Sammy? How are you doing? Voltron form. We've got the white jetty. The white jetty and the brown croft in the house. Just to prove that they can coexist. They are not the same person. They might be alternate realities of each other, but they can be in the same place at the same time. It's not just a white balance change. For both of them. It's not because our cameras are adjusting and it's the same person. They are actually two different people. And we have them both here. I'm so excited. I'm so honored that the multicolored Voltron has been formed on my stream. So fitting. All right, see, I just sped up a little bit here because I want to show this thing on stream while we have Shanth and Browncroft, or White Jetty, not to be confused. I think both of them will appreciate it. So hang tight, we're going to get there. I'm going to put more ink in my inkwell because how I'm loading up right now is weak. Weak sauce. So yeah, the reason I didn't do these tick marks or these hatch marks earlier on is because I was waiting for the border that I drew to dry. Going back to that idea that like if it's still wet or there's a bead of ink in there and I started doing these tick marks, it would start tearing the paper, dragging that line out. So I was waiting for that to dry before I drew over it with more lines. I do like this holder that I'm using. It's very comfortable. I've seen people have, I used to have a holder that had like cork on it. I've seen those. I've seen some fancy wooden holders that some people have. But this is really, this is pretty comfortable. See this a lot in Moebius's work too. He'll do one hatch line and then he'll put a gap and break it up, and it just adds this like nice like texture to it. You'll see that a lot on the Galactus face. When I get to that Galactus face, I'm going to see a lot of those, that technique in there. Just a quick random update. I finally finished reading. I've been catching up on some of my comics. A lot to catch up on. And I finally finished reading that Venom War Venomous series. Then when I was like hunting for issue 2 last week and found it at Frank's shop and blah blah blah. It was with Black Widow and her symbiote. Finally finished reading that, and it wasn't that good. The artwork was good. That was a big reason why I picked it up, but the story was like, it wasn't that good. So I was like, oh, all right, well, there you go. You only know when you can read it. I don't think it'll ever be compiled in a trade. I don't think it'll ever come to my library, so at least I got to read it. But the story was just all over the place. It's too many pieces, not enough substance. But the artwork was cool. All right. I think other than the black areas, first guy is, well, I can do these. See a little bit more tick marks that I will do. Other than coloring in the blacks, the first guy is done. All right, Shant, are you still there? College days and nibs. College is the last time I inked with a nib too. What is it with college and nibs? Have you ever used the Kuretake brush nibs? I have not. That'll be something I should look into though. Wolfman Robot especially was amazing. They got just about everything accurate with Benny Del Toro's likeness. Wow, I'll have to see this. Somebody post the link. I'll have to see this. Mark's Music Obsession saying, what's up to Shanth? People saying hello to Comrade Sammy. Hey, I'm down 3 kg. Pudginess is declining. Goodness gracious. But because you said that in kg, I don't even know what you're talking about. Convert. Congrats. Everybody's saying hello to Sean. 2 magnetic poles. If they get too close, a black hole forms. That's right. Rocky, looking forward to Halloween. Don't have much happening, but the plans I do have could be fun. Halloween has lost it. Oh, sorry. This is going crazy. Stop it. My kids have grown out of Halloween, which is kind of sad for me as their dad. And so, yeah, I'm a little sad. I don't do Halloween for myself. I always did it for my kids. So yeah, I'm a little sad that it's Halloween, but it's okay. All of the earth is sucked into it. Too powerful. Can I be Blackcroft and Ninjetti? You could. There's a whole club. So far, so good with that first figure, though it may be likened to climbing a tightrope to cross the Grand Canyon with all those... I know. It really is. It's going to be good, though. Symbiote thing is becoming way overplayed in Marvel. We're just about... Yes, I agree. And I think that particular short 3-issue series falls victim to that, because not only was it the Black Widow and her symbiote, which I believe was called Sliver, but then she met up with Flash Thompson's symbiote, which I had no idea he had one. And so there was a lot of like discussion about that, and then they were trying to stop this scientist who was injecting more symbiotes into cadavers, which were turning into zombie symbiotes, which I think is another series, Zombiotes. I don't know, it was all over the map. And we were just getting a snapshot as far as Black Widow's involvement in that. So, yeah. I thought the best part was her, Black Widow, trying to build up the relationship with her symbiote. And there was parallels to that and her training as Black Widow. But then when they went into the actual adventure of, like, trying to stop the scientist and Flash Thompson symbiote, it just got all messy, so... All right, let's see. This is the link to Okay, cool. Well, I'll have to check that out later. It'll just be you and Shant looking sad and dressed in leotards on Halloween. Kuretake brush nib is a $75 item. Comes in stainless steel or brass, which is softer. I splurged about the metal nib holder for an additional... Wow. Holy moly. Post the link, Anton Dennison, if you can. Oh, can you post... You don't want to be a nod? Somebody post the link to that. I'd love, or I can do a search. I'd love to see what that looks like at the very least. But I don't think I'm going to be buying $75 nibs yet. Flash Thompson was given the Venom symbiote, and he was Agent Venom. That was like a decade ago. Okay, that's why I don't know. All right, hang on. Shant, are you still there? I'm going to pull out... I'll pull out a couple things. I think because we are... I got a couple more, but I'll pull out just these 2 things at first. Shant. Look at what I found, dude. So what I hold in my hands, everybody... Oops, I don't want to touch this with the ink. These are... Shant. I should have asked you before. These are Shant and Jetty originals, where he was just practicing inking. He was doing master studies of inking before master studies of inking were cool. But this is from Earth X. I'm pretty sure, right, Shant? And he was just doing some sample inking pages. And for some odd reason, I have the originals. This one is really cool, Shant. I have the original. Shant did an ink on... Check out this spawn. Is that not cool? Holy moly, Shant. And Shant did this with a brush. Right? Shant? I think he did this with a brush. Maybe a number 2 Winsor Newton brush. Which is insane because these lines are super, super thin. Can you see that compared to the lines I'm drawing with a nib? Look how thin these like detail texture lines are. Is that not cool? Shant is the man. He was doing some sample inks on a Spawn drawing. I love it. I just found these, man. I was doing some cleanup in my garage and I found these. When did I don't know. I don't know. I think it was, I want to guess this was after college. So late 90s? Right? I don't know, man. Everybody loves it. Loves it. When I was a kid, when I did stuff, everybody loves it, Shant. I got a couple more. These were the ink pages I have. I don't know. I kind of want to show them when my camera is set up wider. But hang on. What else can I show? Yeah, I got a few more originals. Here we go, Sean. What is this? This was before it was published. I have photocopies of original pages from Shant's book, Spring Ball, which he is working on a new updated volume release. I don't know how you want to describe it, Shant, but he's going to be releasing Spring Ball out into the wild, all new Shantified Spring Ball. But I have original photocopies from the originals before he published this. When he was kind of working through stuff and sending me his drawings, I had already moved out here, and I remember him sending me these photocopies. Look how awesome this stuff is. Man, oh man. Brings back so many memories, and the stuff that you're working on for Spring Ball now, Shant, is even better. So everybody get ready for that campaign to hit the airwaves, because it's going to be amazing, and it's going to do gangbusters. I know it's going to do really well. So, but this was pre-launch of the first one. Love it. Ah, Shot, look at this. The double pager, baby. The double pager. So good. I don't know why they're in such good condition, these photocopies I've kept of your stuff. They're in better condition than I keep of my own stuff. Anyway, I won't show everything that I found, but you get a sense of some of the stuff, some of the archives, from the archives of Shant's world. All right, I'm going to switch to this Hunt nib, which I feel like is going to be way more flexible. I know it's going to be way more flexible than the other one. Everybody's saying these are all on samplings. Crazy talent. Yes, we all know Sean's talented, but it's always lovely for you guys to know. I know the depths of this guy's talent. My gosh, because I've known him for so long, over 30 years. And I feel like you guys are just kind of peeling back layers of onion that you see when Sean puts out streams and his painting streams and Nosfero and all the new stuff he's working on. But you just don't know how deep the autism goes. How deep the insanity goes for Shant and Jetty. It's amazing. Show all the skeletons. There would be no evidence that I lived if it weren't for Rocky taking photos of me. I'm a recorder. That's how it goes. It's good. Good times. Shant, I told people last stream about did you draw that whole story? I know we've shared that a few times, but I shared with the stream last time, and also the Mama, why is that man shaving? That story. my gosh. Okay, I think I need to rotate this a bit. Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I was gonna put more ink. For sure, this nib is way more flexible. And it might be because it's older. I should be working with new supplies, guys, but I'm such a cheapie. So it might be broken in, but it's definitely flowing a lot faster and a lot more flexible. Which is good and bad. Like, I'm a little nervous of the beating that's going to happen on this nib. Oh, do you see that? This is the issue with nibs. You guys can see that? See how it's like picking up some of the paper? That's always dangerous. Because then when if you're inking with, if it picks up a piece of that paper and it drags it, and I remember it doing this for me before when I've inked with them before, it will give you a crazy line. This is making me a little nervous. I might switch back to the other one. And I don't know if it's because of the nib style or if it's just because I'm using a old tool. But it does feel a little bit more precarious than what I was just doing. Yeah, for whatever reason, I feel like this is kind of tearing the paper. I'm going to switch before I regret. Switching back. And those nibs, those hunt nibs, I mean, I won't give up on it. I might just have to find new ones, so I'm not using an old one. But those hunt nibs are smaller. You can see in comparison, smaller. Sorry, I'm a little bit off screen here. Those hunt nibs are smaller, and so the holder, you can't put this hunt nib on this holder, and the holder is smaller, and so it feels like you're drawing with like a tinier pencil, if that makes any sense. As opposed to this one has a nice balance, a nice weight to it because it's quite large. So that might have something to do with it as well. But I do feel like that tip is tearing into the paper faster than this nib I'm working on now. Now I remember why I switched to brush. Yeah, this nib is working better. Oops. Yeah, I already like this feel. Right. Well, that was a good experiment to know as far as that other nib. I will try and locate buying new ones. But just a very cursory look, they were hard to find. I couldn't find a good place to get them. And I've heard of people like inkers, traditional inkers, like hoarding them a little bit because it can be hard to find. So I'll have to do some more research. And I don't know if you guys can notice sometimes I have to change the direction of where the stroke of the line I'm doing it. So I have to rotate the nib a little bit to make sure the ink flow is going in the right direction. Because if I just keep it always like this, I'll just end up like slicing through the paper. So I have to kind of rotate it if my stroke is going like this, or rotate the paper. It's so funny, just doing that little test with that other nib, switching back to this one, I feel a little bit more confident with this one. Just the control, and so it's making me not be so hesitant about the line. That's cool. Big difference between this and just my experience with brush inking is how many times I need to load up, and maybe I'm still not doing this right, but how many times I need to load up the nib versus loading up a brush. Like a lot of you guys were on stream where I was brush inking, and sometimes I could go quite a long time just on one load up of the brush. And I feel like with the nib, I'm going back to the well quite a bit, which is fine. It's just different. Makes sense too. From the vault. That's right. I need to come out with an artist edition of Shant's stuff from my vault, from Rocky's vault. Shant, that loose Marvel style is worth exploring. Yeah, that I know that version of oh shoot, what was the character? It's from Earth X, but that was drawn by John Paul Leon. Actually, that version, that kind of look, that silhouetted machinery. That wasn't Machine Man, was it? The silhouetted machinery was definitely a John Paul Leon creation. So I love his stuff. Have an artist edition of his stuff. So it's great reference. We call it drawtism. Genius equals madness. Madness equals genius. It's all the same. It's not the tool. It's the user. Yep. I think it's just it's an easy thing to blame it on the tools. To attribute it to the tools. Awesome One says, hi and bye, off for a ride with my mom. Peace. It's all right. We're going to give you this, Awesome One.
That's awesome.
Hope you have a good ride with your mom. Thanks for coming in here. There are rubber shafts for the smaller pen holders. I'm not fond of the small brown holders either. Yeah, I've seen that, like holders, or I know I've seen people do like handmade stuff, or handmade holders. And it's a whole nother world when you go and look at people who are pen and ink artists, not comic book artists, but pen and ink artists, that they do like lettering, hand lettering and stuff using nibs. Like that whole, the calligraphy aspect of it. It's a whole nother can of worms you're opening with tools and all that kind of stuff. So all right, let's get these cool shades. I feel like a lot of European artists and Japanese artists were the ones who really mastered the nib in inking. And then it was more American artists. I could just be totally generalizing this. American artists and British artists that use the brush a lot more. Am I wrong about that? Anybody know? It feels like, though, that when I look at European work, I do see a lot of, and maybe it's because Moebius is such a huge influence on people, but like Drouet, like a lot of the French artists, they're so good at like the nib inking. And then obviously manga. And there are American artists that do nib inking well. But when I think about brush inking, I think of a lot more American artists do brush inking, and British. I feel like I can dip even deeper with this nib, but just being cautious here. Maybe overly cautious. I mean, there's even, as I'm doing this, there's even stuff like, I can even see myself doing some of those buildings and perspective things using this. I was saying, oh yeah, I'm going to just use the pit pen. I got to look up how people use nibs. With rulers. There's got to be a technique for like straight edge lines using a nib. Arguably, since I penciled it in here, I wouldn't be opposed to just freehanding it, since I already have I used a straight edge in the penciling phase of those things, and then freehanding the straight edge lines would be a nice look. But I'm sure people used rulers with a nib. There's got to be a technique. This is super fun. Sorry I'm so quiet. It's fun figuring this out. It's very different than inking with a brush. How is it different, Rocky? Explain. The brush for me, a lot of it has to do with like getting that line, a nice, like a nice rhythm and breadth with putting down that line. Like I always found myself, at least in the master studies I've done so far, like just having to watch my breathing as I'm putting down these lines. For this technical, this is kind of halfway between inking with a brush and drawing with a technical pen, like a Pitt pen, where just by nature of the tool, there's more control already in it. And it's not so much about the breath, it's about I guess like the mark making. Yeah, brush like relies heavily on the line quality. Nib, I feel like, is more about the mark making. And I feel like there's a slight difference in the description of that both. Of course both can be, there's overlap in both, but that's just my initial reaction here. Like I'm focusing on like these marks and like how far apart they are and where do they start and end. And with the brush, I'm more concerned with like, is that line like a nice flow to the line? I don't know if that makes any sense. There's a nice scratchy sound as I put down these lines. It's really cool. This like scratchy feel, the feel and the sound of the line too is really satisfying. This is all stuff you lose when you do digital, I swear. And I love digital. I use digital for a lot of stuff, but you just miss this like the tactile nature of creating art. 2 down. Look at that. We're flowing, guys. We're flowing. Cranberry Langer says Moebius was good at doing faces. Darn right he was. Back in the house with a big picture. Awesome. With my crazy white balance. Earth X, R.I.P. John Paul. Masterful, masterful dude. Steve Parkhouse first made the distinction between British and continental European approaches to the ink line. Brush was his primary qualifier. All right. Remember I said I needed to make like a little sticky note, digital sticky note on, where did my Post-its go? Digital sticky note on my stream so that I can remember these things. I guess I could just do it on the fly. I'm going to do it on the fly. I really want to do this. It might be weird for you guys, but I want to do this because you guys come up with such cool stuff or cool comments. All right, let's see. Can I do... Is it just a text box? I guess so. Okay, bear with me. This is going to be weird. But that is an ugly color. But I'm going to do this for my own well-being. Goodness gracious, change that color. It's just too gray. Yeah. I could do it like this. Ooh. 3 hours later. How about just white? Nah. I like the gray color. All right. Then I will... How about this? We could do all these fun things. Bloop, 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 bloop. We can add a little shadow. Ooh, too much. Reduce the opacity of that shadow. We can reduce the distance of that shadow. Reduce the blur of that shadow. And we don't need a shadow. Okay, then I'm going to write down Steve Parkhouse. Oh yeah, I'd mentioned on chat that my enter key, my return key on my keyboard is stuck. I gotta clean that out. So hopefully that doesn't screw me up. Steve Parkhouse. Okay, cool. So I'll just use that to remind me later as we figure these things out. Thank you, Anton Dennison. I love it. Steve Parkhouse. I gotta look it up. I miss the Shant and Rocky photos. No, there was no photos. It was just Shant art. Go back and watch the stream later, Mark. You can see some originals of Shant's work that I found in my garage. Some original inking samples that he did. And then I didn't reveal all of it. I'll reveal some later or on another stream of some of the other things. I have some pencils, original pencils of Shant's stuff that I had. It's amazing. I avoid nibs with rulers or stencils. It's easier to break out the rapidograph. Yeah, maybe that's a good rule. I'm drawing bubbles while I listen. Dear Lord. Is it harder than skulls? I've seen you draw skulls. Lots of skulls. Or is it harder than streetlights? Michael Bancroft. I would think drawing bubbles would be really relaxing. Prayers for Michael Bancroft. Although using a ruler and a brush gives straight lines more character, you rest your middle finger against the ruler as you draw the line. I always hold my breath when doing a long, thin line. Yeah, I could see that for sure. I feel like the movement and the breath is affected more when I'm using my brush. Maybe it's just the kind of brush. Maybe it's how I brush. I don't know. But there's a little bit more forgiveness with this nib as I breathe. Looking good. Cool. All right. Let's see. We'll move on to who should we move on to? Let's move on to this gal here. Okay, I'm gonna put more ink. I'm trying to be cheap. I don't want to waste ink. That's why I'm not putting a lot, but it's kind of ridiculous how little ink is in here that I'm trying to load up on this nib. And the hard thing is, yes, I got a white ceramic ink well so that I can see my ink, but then once the ink is in there, I can't really see it. So it's almost like sticking my nib. I don't know how deep it's going in. Maybe I need a more shallow inkwell, but it's almost like sticking it into a black hole and then just guessing how much ink is on there. I gotta figure out a better technique. All right, let's ink. I think we're dry. Let's ink this lady's face. And I have my reference here, slightly off camera, just so you guys know. It's like, sure, I drew the pencils, which I was referencing the original, but I always like to go back and keep looking at the original just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I bet you as I get better, I could ink something like this with a brush. The more confident I get with my brush skills, I bet you I could ink something as delicate and technical with a brush. I mean, you guys saw Sean's great with a brush, and you saw how thin he was able to get on that Spawn piece. However, there is something about the feel of this nib that's quite interesting and very different than the brush. And I'm going to wait for this vertical nose line to draw before I do the cross hatching, because I know if I hit it right now, it's a little wet. If I hit it right now, it's going to tear or like bleed. The other artists that were really good with pen nibs that are often associated with pen inking are the Belgian artists. I think there was even a Photoshop brush that was like Belgian inking that had this kind of nib feel to it. This one artist that I'll pull out his book in a second. Peo, way back in one of my earliest streams where I was doing the bande dessinée that I picked up, or all the books that I picked up from France when I took a trip to Paris, was this book on Peo, and has some examples of his original work in there. Yeah, I'll be curious to look at it and see, did he do that with a brush or with a pen nib? I haven't looked closely. I'll pull that out in a second. John, are you still there? Just wanted to let you know, last night I watched most of that walkaway stream. At Berkeley, where Gothics was on the panel for that. It was good. It was a good stream. So yeah, I forgot why. Sorry, I'm gonna go get Post-its. For those of you who are interested, it's political YouTubers, I guess, who are on the conservative side of things, and they used to be part of the Democratic Party, and then they've since walked away and started a movement of why they walked away. And so they were visiting the campus of Berkeley, UC Berkeley, which is here, nearby here where I live. And not surprisingly, Berkeley is very liberal, progressive, democratic leaning, protest swinging. It's just a hotbed of political debate. And so they went straight in the middle of that and did a presentation there. And all I watched was their stream or the video. I don't know if they recorded or posted a video of them like on campus with people, because I heard it got pretty heated, as was expected. But just hearing their stories and kind of why they left the Democratic Party was really fascinating. And I thought it was presented in a way that was clear and respectful and unapologetic. On a campus like Berkeley is pretty amazing. So yeah, I liked it a lot. I don't know if you got to see it, John. John was the one who told me about it. Michael Bancroft says, bubbles are much easier, but you have to draw a lot more than you think to get a good effect. Yeah, I'll bet. Have you ever played around with one of those Japanese kanji character brushes? They're like little brooms. No, I haven't. All right. Antoine Dennison giving me all the information here. Wait, gotta put this down. Get my keyboard. I guess I could put my keyboard. No, it's hard to ink with my keyboard there. Oops, does my return key even work? Shift. Aha. Kanji character brushes. I want to remember that. And then we'll say, okay, kanji character brushes. Nice. Thanks. No, I haven't. I will love to look into that. Timmy Mello says, I'm back, though temporarily. Hairy arms? Wait, my arms? No, my arms aren't hairy. I've got very, very non-hairy arms. Didn't the Belgians champion the line Clara technique, which is more of a dead line? Tintin, for example? Antoine Dennison, man, he's bringing the knowledge, always. I do feel like I've heard that somewhere. Not so specific, but I do feel like that they had a specific line Oh man, I don't have a great setup. What was I thinking? I don't have a great setup to look at this stuff right now because I'm so far close. I mean, that's cool. Is that brush or is that? I don't think so. I feel like that's nib. I wonder if they have pictures of him drawing. Because I feel like this is nib lines. Oh man, this is awesome. I love it. Smurfs never looked so good. Let me see if I can find, like, yeah, this stuff looks like it's nib. For sure. And that line, the Photoshop brush I'm talking about, has this look to it. There's a calligraphic, thick and thin feel to it, which I think is very classic nib inking. I wonder if they have a picture of him drawing and I can look at his tool. This is great. Like this right there on the, like, the neck feathers, that thick on one side, flat thick on one side and the thin on the other. I mean, you could execute that with a brush, but it definitely feels like a nib or some sort of pen, dip pen. Oh, that's him. Yeah. I can't tell. What's he got in his mouth? That doesn't look like a brush. This is great right here. Look at that line quality there. Like this. That for sure feels like a nib, some sort of metal, that knee mark, or the squiggles on the shadow. That's awesome. Okay, look, here's people working. Oh, she's using a, oh no, she's painting cells, my bad. That's for the Smurf cartoon. Yeah, I don't know, I'd have to look up. Oh. Aha! Mystery solved, everyone. Dun dun. Mystery solved. I knew it. I knew it. That was definitely a nib. Metal nib right there. There we go. But there's so much character to the line. It's great. Right? So it's cool to kind of see the strengths of the different tools. Like they have a life of their own. Just find one more. I mean, this beautiful, look at all that texture on the rocks. And like, we're talking about pretty technical thing here, this car, but look how much life that has based on the inking style. It's awesome. Cool. Well, we figure that out. Our job here is done. John's in Gothic stream. Oh, how appropriate. Clear line. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 says, gotta catch more community streams. I watched about half. The video cutting out was annoying. Dirty hippies. Ferris Comics, what's up, Ferris Comics? How are you doing? Good to see you here. Thanks for joining the party. They did post the video. Okay, Cranberry Landers, I'll have to take it, check it out later. I like Brandon Straka and the Walkaway campaign. There you go. Yeah, he was the head of that campaign. He went through some crazy things just because he walked away. So yeah, it sounds like his, I don't know, I've never heard of him before I was watching the stream. The only person I was familiar with was Gothics because of John. that John has so much influence on my life. But yeah, hearing Brandon Straka's story sounded horrific of how he was targeted by the government just based on his affiliation with what he was doing. I remember the good old days when the kids of my millennial generation were not interested in politics, but genuinely into hobbies and geek culture, where it wasn't used as an angle for political points. Yeah, I mean, everybody is given. I mean, I'd argue though that it's good. I mean, I want my kids to be aware of politics and the things that they feel strongly about. I hate that it's so divisive and it can't, like, anytime anybody, well, not anybody, but for me, like, when somebody starts talking about politics or bringing up politics, it's like, just kind of like, ugh, like, do we have to go there? Like, it's going to be like unpleasant and blah, blah, blah. But I almost want to go back to where you can discuss it. You can have differing views. You can have opposing opinions, but we are still human and we're still trying to, express those views and be okay with other people expressing views that are different than you. And I think that's where it gets dangerous, where people are feeling like they can't express what they feel, especially when the whole culture is like, that's where we get cancel culture, and that's where we get just these kind of extreme actions of people demonizing opinions that are different than their own. And that's kind of where we are right now. It's really, really sad. I can't even sit down and have a conversation or just try and understand other people's points of view, because inevitably it's just going to turn into just a really antagonistic conversation. And some people like that. Some people do really well in that, and some people don't. I don't. I'd rather talk about nibs and and sleuth whether or not Peyo is using a nib or a brush. Like, that's fun for me. Or look at this crazy texture pattern that MOEBIUS drew for this girl's shirt. But yeah, at the same time, it's like, I don't want the next generation or my kids' generation to grow up like not being informed. Because the worst thing I can do as a parent is let them not be informed, or not teach them how to think for themselves and express their opinion in a convincing yet open-minded way, and respect other people's opinions as well. It's really tricky. Very tricky. So it's neat to be exposed to things like what some of you guys have been sharing, like, Gothic stream or whatever, just seeing how other people do it and how they're able to have conversations, and just watching that stream, that walk away stream in Berkeley, how they're able to articulate why they left certain beliefs. They were all very different too, and they weren't all just speaking the same thing. I think one of the questions somebody asked them was like, what do you disagree with, or like with each other? Do you disagree in things with each other, and why? And they're just like, there's a lot of things we disagree in, the four people that were on the panel. But it was okay, There was some commonalities, but there was things that they disagreed with too. And they weren't demanding that the other people agree with everything they do. A soft nib that gas a broad edge. Gas. The guy with the beard looks like a blonde Steven Crowder. Calligraphy pen, but to get that character of line. Yes. Pretty creative. Smurf image for future reading, that is. Name of book, please. Oh, the Peyo book? It's French. I cannot. If Michael Bancroft's still here, don't you know French, Michael Bancroft? This is the name of the book. No idea. The translation. This is the cover. Beautiful. Peyo. This is the publisher. And yeah, I found it in France. Snapshot. Definitely another book to add to the collection. I want to get an exact serial number of that pen. If you can't leave it, exactly. I agree. And the funny thing is that the accusations, that's kind of the eye-opening thing of like the accusations that are coming from certain parties of people being cult-like or kind of following this, hive mind, and yet when people don't agree with them, they kind of treat them the same way, or like are exactly what they're saying they're supposedly against, is really crazy. And hearing these people's personal experiences of that is really crazy. John has a huge influence on my life as well. I'm headed there now, in fact. All right, Antoine Dennison, if you do go there, it was good seeing you here. Thank you for coming, and thank you for all your contributions. They're awesome. In my post-it note of stuff to look up later. I got to make it look prettier, but that's kind of what I want to do. Maybe I'll have it on screen all the time if I can make it look pretty enough. Let's see. I love having my ideas challenged if I can't define my... It's true. Yeah, and they talk about a lot on that stream. Go check it out if you haven't already, Antoine Dennison or anybody else, that this walkaway group that was in Berkeley just recently, last week. They challenged the things that people in the audience that were watching them brought up, and they spoke very articulately about them. And you realize that most people don't want to actually understand what it is they believe, and they just kind of blanket believe it for whatever reason, or blanket follow what somebody tells them to follow. And I think to a certain extent we've all done that in our lives, but there is a certain point where you gotta like understand what you believe, whether that's faith, whether that's politics, and know why you believe something. Otherwise you're just mindlessly trusting somebody else's opinion, and when challenged will not be able to articulate or stand up. And I'm for sure guilty of that in my own life about all sorts of things. So it's just a good reminder of like, know why you believe what you believe, and if you're going to believe it, and understand why that is. And one of the points that Gothix herself brought up, though, is she believes in, as a person of faith, she believes in an absolute truth. And if you don't have that absolute truth, then anything goes, and it's all relative. And then we descend into chaos. We kind of see that in society. When everybody's truth is true, there's no truth. So you got to ask yourself, what is truth? What do you believe is truth? Where do you get your truth from? And challenge that. It's good. It's just a great reminder I prefer seeing those things as opposed to the heated, like yelling at each other, nobody getting anywhere, no understanding happening. Hence why I think more than I speak, at least when I'm out and about, and I think far more than I speak. That's not a bad thing. Gosh, stop. White balance. Oh, geez. All right. Okay, how do I copy paste this? I gotta copy paste this, Shant. Wait. That's the wrong stream. Copy paste this. I can't copy. That's the annoying thing with Ecamm. From the comments. Wow. Where am I? Where is that link? Boop, 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 boop. Ah, here we go. From the comments, copy link. Boop. It's a little janky how I'm doing this, but we're just gonna try. Return key. All right. Wait, does that make my thing really wide? Oh no. Okay. I'm gonna keep that in my notes. Shant, what is that? You're telling me something. Here it is. Just read. Browse number 361 Steno Blue Pumpkin Calligraphy Nib. Whoa. Pumpkin nib? What is that? Extra fine point arrow calligraphy nib. All right. Okay. I'm going to definitely check that out. Dick Blick. Well, okay then. You know what? It's better than Dick Butkus. Cranial. Anytime a black elects an opinion. Cranial. Anytime a black elects an opinion that has contradicted leftists, we get called all the names. Oh. Cranlan. What? Oh, you're talking to Cranberry. Half the time I don't know if I'm just missing a vernacular or like, you know, a hip abbreviation, a chat abbreviation, or if it's a typo. So I try and read into it, but got it. Antoine Dennison. Okay, click link offered $5 on products for email membership. Register immediately. I'm too easy to manipulate as bodyguard. Nice. The life and art of didn't see the rest. Here we go. The life and art of, what's that? Is that the name of the artist? No. No. I think this is his name, right? And then that's his pen name, Peyo. I don't know. Google Translate, help us. Siri, translate this. Doing good. Ferris Comics saying hello. Cranial. Pizza Live Halloween edition coming out tomorrow. So exciting. I don't know if I'll be able to catch it, Shant. I think I'm going to be on the road, but that sounds like it's going to be an epic Pizza Live, right? How can you go wrong with a Halloween edition of Pizza Live? It's like Pizza Live's made for Halloween edition. Everybody's chess. Are we going root beer or Coke? It's gonna be crazy. Yes. Bundaberg, ginger. There we go. Mark's Music Obsession. I'm all for that. A master storyteller. Thank you, translators. Amazing. Oh my gosh, I was on a Zoom meeting last night, and I don't know if you guys have been on Zoom lately or tried this, but there is an AI functionality in Zoom when you're on a meeting, or at least the people I with had it, and they were like, oh, what's this? They're like, oh, let's try it out. And they clicked on it. And then, lo and behold, later on, they sent an email out. The person who hosted the email sent the email out that they got from Zoom, and it's an AI transcript of what we were talking about, and it was crazy scary. We're like, let's not click on that button again. It was crazy, like crazy in how accurate it was. And we weren't talking about like it wasn't like I don't want to say mainstream, that's not the right word, but it wasn't like simple concepts we were talking about. But the summary was pretty nuts. So I didn't read it all, but I was like, note to self, turn that off. So you guys are my AI translators. Hey chat, translate this from French. Why was that nib shot that you gave me the link called the pumpkin nib? That's weird. Is it a Halloween special nib? Or was that a typo? Is it really called the pumpkin nib? Do people in the chat like pumpkin? I'm not. I do like pumpkin pie. Speaking of the holidays, I do like pumpkin pie. I don't like any pumpkin spice stuff. That stuff does not. Yeah, I'm not. I do like pumpkin bread. So I like the taste of it. Maybe it's just the like coffee pumpkin stuff that I don't like. I don't know. I have had pumpkin ice cream before. That was okay. Depends on what you're eating it with. This is a great mouth, great teeth. Marvelous storyteller. Link to book. Here we go. Nice. Wow, it's on Amazon already. Nice. Nice job, Timmy Mello. Fill it with pumpkin spice. Maybe the tip of the nib is oval like a pumpkin. Oh, Maybe. Yeah, I have seen those where they have different tips. They're literally talking about pumpkin foods and pumpkin spice and Gothic stream. She has a poll. Oh, goodness. It's in the air. I can't believe how fast we are almost done with October. And then heading into Thanksgiving for us here in the stateside. Sorry, Michael Bancroft. Do they have an Australian equivalent of Thanksgiving? So heading into Thanksgiving, more pumpkin. And then Christmas. My gosh. This year has flown by. I was just talking to a friend who was like asking me about this YouTube thing and how it's going, and he was like, how long have you done it? And I was like, almost a year now. A little less than a year, but we're heading up, like end of November, I think, is kind of when I really started posting more, or trying to post more frequently, like figure out what I was posting about. But yeah, almost a year. And we're at the cusp of 400 subscribers, people. What a benchmark. Very exciting. That was my chair, not my stomach. So yeah, I should be finishing up that Absolute Batman video. I should post it before the end of the week. And then I gotta get working on my summary of the master study for Michael Golden next. I know what the 3 things that I learned, or the top 3 things that I learned from doing that. Wrote those down. I still have a couple of comic book store videos I got to edit. Got to work on Browncroft's sound effect. Reverse Bizarro White Jetty sound effect. A few other sound effects I need to work on too. There's always something. I don't know if you guys know, and I'm sure you fellow streamers can relate to this, but I wake up thinking about this stuff of like, oh, what if I do this and this, and oh, I gotta work on this and this, and it's always unending. It's like such a grind. It's really fun. That's the only reason I'm doing it. It honestly is really the only reason I'm doing it, is because it's so fun. But I'm constantly thinking about it. It's a little bit of a sickness. My daughter was sharing with me, I can't remember what the name of the stream is. I have to ask her. But some YouTuber that she watches that, like, I don't know, he's millions of subscribers, and he just sits there and like draws their characters, like other people's characters. I don't know, it's so bizarre. But I was just trying to watch and see how he did it, what was working, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. And I made a couple comments, and I was like, oh yeah, that's, I wouldn't do that, or I couldn't do that. She got a little defensive about it, and she was like, I really like this, and And I'm like, I'm not criticizing. Like, this is working for this guy. He's making a living off of doing this. Like, who am I to criticize it? But I'm like, it's just not me. It's not what, but I want to learn. I want to figure out what he's doing right, and maybe some of those things I can apply to what I'm doing. But it's like everybody's so different. Everybody does things differently. Different things matter to them. I'm obsessed with like trying to get this white balance to to be better. Yeah, I think that's such a cool thing that it can be whatever you put your mind to, and whatever you want to focus on, you can do it. Like Mark's Music Obsession can do a chill stream. A chill / Airbnb stream. Subscribe to Mark's Music Obsession. Reviewing music stuff in Florida. Like, he can do that. That would be amazing. So far so good. This ink, outside of, or just separate from the actual nib experience that I'm going through right now, the ink that I'm using, the Kohinoor ink, seems to be really good, really nice. It's flowing good, doesn't feel like it's taking too long to dry. It's like loading up on this nib okay. It's good stuff. The only fault is the bottle explodes in your pocket. It's a great face. You need the pumpkin nib to summon the great pumpkin. That is why Linus' summoning ritual failed. He didn't read enough Lovecraft. No Australian Thanksgiving. Boo! Australian equivalent is kick out the stinking Brits Day. Thanksgiving in Australia, golden gay time. Okay. So you guys don't get to experience, I don't know, what's the Australian equivalent of turkey? It's be like wombat? I don't know. You don't eat wombats, but a wallaby. Good old roasted wallaby. No, the wallabies are cute, right? Aren't they like koalas, kind of? Whatever, some sort of horrible bird that only exists in Florida that you can catch and hunt and cook for several hours, that it becomes dry and nobody really likes it. Some sort of equivalent. And then, like, you guys don't get to experience canned cranberry. Canned cranberry relish. And just gorging yourself until you cannot wake up. All the wonderful things about Thanksgiving. That is coming up, everybody. What is this hat thing here? Some badge. Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing all these tick hatch marks with a brush. That's one of those differences. It's like the mark making. If you were to do this similar kind of mark making with a brush, it would have a totally different quality. I am going to check out that brush link that you posted though, Sean, because that would be cool. Something that has like such a different tip, like not just a pointed tip like this, but that could provide some of that Belgian comic art influence. That'd be cool. Oh my gosh. Not only did MOEBIUS put this hand here of this guy with the hat, which is cool, but he decided to put construction gloves on him. So the knuckles on the hand have little like padding on them. Which I didn't notice until now. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to start. I wonder when I should do it. Maybe not right now, but I do have to start putting in some of these, filling in some of these blacks, so I know where I am. Here we go. 5 heads down. Timmy Mello says, later guys, I gotta run, but I'll catch the rest of the stream in the playback. Thanks, Timmy Mello. See you later. Have a good day. See you later. Need 13 more subs to start. Wow, I got another sub during the stream. Awesome, Mark's Music Obsession. Let's do it. Help the guy out. You go through StreamYard, you can stream right now immediately. Oh, are you waiting for live streaming? Oh, are you waiting for that for live streaming on YouTube, like straight out of the app? Yeah, you could use StreamYard with 0 subs. I think you can just stream at no cost. And StreamYard seems to be a pretty good entry point app to use for streaming. Very easy to use. I use Ecamm, which is a subscription service, but there's different reasonings why. More specifically, just because I like the quality of the stream. It like streams in HD, and I love the functionality, the modularity. It's really good. It's meant for Macs or Apple's OS, so that's why I use StreamYard. And yeah, I just love the quality of stream. And other streamers that use Ecamm, I really like the quality of their streams, so that's why I do it. But I think for For your purposes, Mark, StreamYard would be great. And then you don't have to wait. When you said that, I thought that was just a goal that you were setting for yourself. I didn't realize you were talking about streaming straight from like the YouTube app. So yeah, screw it. Don't wait for those last 13 people. Just do it using StreamYard. It's a free setup. I don't know. I don't know if StreamYard, is there an app for StreamYard, or is it only from a desktop? It might only be from a desktop. So maybe that's why you're waiting for the YouTube mobile. That makes sense. Said this before, but like just the little details that Moebius puts in, and I can imagine he's just doing it by instinct. He's not thinking about it as much as I'm thinking about it, because it would be super hard for me to do them. But he just does all these little neat, unique things to each person in this crowd, their costumes and like what they're wearing. Like this head that I'm inking right now, they have like this fluffy collar, but it's so cool. It's not just like, oh yeah, collar, and all the collars look the same. It's like this person has a little fluffy, like wool collar. It's a cool detail. And just adds so much personality with just very simple, different details he adds in. Like this guy here has plaid on. And it's not like complicated plaid, but just the fact that he's thinking about that and putting it on this character. Ostriches, yes. Happy Thanksgiving in Australia would be ostriches. Kangaroo, they're too, I mean, cute. I don't know. That's almost like, that would be like eating a deer for a kangaroo. It's a wallaby. Bancroft's opening video with the puffy shirt and rollerblades is my favorite opening of any channel. Emus, there you go. They use the square turds as giblets. Gross. I would guess emus after the Great Emu War. Is there really an emu war? Oh my gosh. I know nothing of Australian history if there is something called an emo war. This character here who's wearing the plaid looks like a serial killer, but it's awesome. So much character. Like, I wonder where he's getting these references for these faces. Are they just like made up in his head? Just faces that he remembers? They're all so different. I probably have like 5 go-to faces in my head, character faces in my head. Moebius has like 1,000. Cranberry sauce is delicious. All those poor cranberries stuffed in a can. The one aspect of brushwork that I hate is how washed out the inks look after erasing the underlying pencils. Yeah, because I guess, I mean, not that I'm doing it that way, where I'm inking over the pencils, so I don't have anything to erase. But is it not the same way with a nib, Antoine Dennison? Like if you were to erase the lines underneath a nib inking? Because at that point, wouldn't it be the ink quality as opposed to the tool? Or is it just because they're like bigger areas of black that you're inking with a brush? I like the jellied one in the shape of a can better than the more natural one. Yeah, there's some people. I like I've had some really good like homemade cranberry sauce, like with fresh cranberries and stuff like that. So I do like that better than the can one, but if there's both, I will get both. I'm not a snob against the canned cranberry. There's something about it that's very satisfying. Nostalgia is strong with that. Black that out. Like that creepy serial killer is somewhat done. Guidelines for easy slicing. They've upped the quality now. Have sound effects. You can do subtitles now in StreamYard. Awesome. StreamYard doesn't stream in 1080p. I don't think so, unless you have a paid. I'm thinking you have to pay. Yeah, there's something about how Ecamm does it, and you can also record your stream directly onto your desktop as opposed to it being hosted on the cloud. So even if I'm not streaming, like when I record my videos, like pre-recorded videos, I do that using Ecamm, like the Ecamm software. So it's really good. It's very powerful, and the community is very robust. So a lot of people figuring things out and sharing ideas and yeah. So yeah, but I don't think the default free version of StreamYard, I don't think it's streaming in 1080p. Which and Shant and I have had this discussion for like art streams. It's kind of a big deal. I mean, it's more helpful to see it clear. However, then you get my stupid stream where I'm using old iPhone cameras and it's just the white balance is going crazy. So after all that talk, I'm still kind of failing. It doesn't matter if I'm streaming in 1080p. My dumb camera is not working well. It's all relative. All right. Coming along. Crowd is coming along. You can access StreamYard from a mobile browser? Okay. Lives for me at this point would be running around showing things, reviews, or repair videos would be pre-recorded. Yeah, that makes sense. That'd be fun. Okay, there is a mobile browser. Awesome. Deer is good if cooked right. Yes, yes. There was an where's my links? Because this is worthy of my new my new post-it, or whatever you want to call this thing. Okay. There was an emu war. The great emo war. Where were you during the emo war? Bancroft? Were you there? Were you alive? Alright, I'm gonna have to look that up. Ferris Comics, thank you. I feel like I'm getting smarter as the more I stream. I'm getting smarter from all of you fine people giving me this wonderful knowledge. Let's see, what are we doing on time here? Oh my goodness, we're almost at 3 hours. Okay, I should wrap this up soon. Maybe I'll do one more head and then I'll wrap it up. It's been so fun. Where are we at? Wait a minute. I just refreshed my window. How many subscribers are we at now? 404 subscribers? What the hey? We did it. We hit 400. And I give all the credit to the Emu War. Like, what in the heck? People. We did it. What is this sound effect here? Sure. All of the sound effects. Amazing. Thank you, Emu War. Thank you, Ferris Comics. I think Moebius art is like jazz. He's just, yeah. I think when you get to that level, white balance. When you get to that level that he did, and when he was drawing this, he was definitely at that level. I can't imagine him referencing anything. He was just kind of feeling it and just like, oh yeah, this is how I draw Galactus. This is how I draw perspective, and just like free-handed it. There are some pages in the book where you can tell he, I don't want to say rushed, like who am I to know, but it wasn't as tight as some other pages. Maybe he was rushing it. But yeah, when you just get to that level, it's like it's just flowing out of your hand. A nib line is more indelible, generally speaking. Wow, indelible. I haven't heard that described. A nib line described that way, but awesome. We shall see when he gets to the bosoms. When he gets to the bosoms. Whose bosoms? It also depends on the paper surface, how absorbent the stock is. With a plate finish, stock of the ink tends to remain near the surface. Yeah. Yeah, this paper here, I realized, I thought this was the same stock as this, but it's not. It actually, I don't know where I got this from. I think this was like the backing to something. But it has a smooth, almost velvety finish here compared to the smooth Bristol of this Strathmore. But it's different, and the ink sits differently on it. It's still relatively flat, but it's different. It feels different than this. Like, I don't feel like your nib would catch any of the paper on this because it's smoother. Here, there's a little bit of a tooth to it, so it might. It's still pretty smooth. But if you worked at it, you would tear into it. I'm currently experimenting with brush on vellum using acrylic ink. Nice. That's awesome. I'm here for all the experiments and the trying outs. Left says anything you do that isn't their stance is racist, sexist, whatever. All of it's untaught. That just came from a totally different timeline, Cranberry Lancers. I feel like I was behind on the chat, but I feel like you're behind on answering that question. Maybe? Does vellum bleed ink? Is that a poetic statement? Or are you asking a question? I don't think so. Have I ever inked on vellum before? I don't think it does. I'd have to try. I have a subscription to StreamYard, so they keep rolling out new stuff. Nice. There you go. I have to figure out my lighting on all my streams. I look like a silhouette. Lighting is important. Yes. Different skin color lighting, important. I feel like sometimes on this setup, my setup here for my lighting is different than my other setup that I usually do the other videos on. And I feel like my skin tone on this lighting looks different on my screen than it gets posted on YouTube. Like my skin tone right now looks accurate, but sometimes when it's posted on YouTube, I feel like I look like I have pumpkin spice in my system. So yeah, it's weird. It's all, there's so many factors. Going back to the whole original comment earlier on, I think it was Timmy Mello who said ADHD, or we were joking around with being autistic artists or whatever. Like, yeah, there's just so many factors to consider when doing this kind of stuff. So it's crazy how bananas it gets. Michael Bancroft was not born during the emo war. I didn't look it up, so didn't mean to insult, but yeah. So it seems like it's deep in the history then if you weren't born yet. So like, is it like as important? I wonder if I need to clean off this nib. Maybe I do. Was it important as like the American Revolution, the emu war? Is it like right up there? Civil War, emu war, like back to back, maybe. Love the clipboard. Cool. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to make that look nicer. But hopefully that's helpful. I thought it would be kind of cool if I could just have it on screen all the time. Maybe it could be a ticker tape or something. I don't know. There's all sorts of things we could do. 404 is an error. Hopefully, was it the emo war? Yeah, it shows 403 on mine. Oh. Oh, you're talking about subscribers. I thought you were talking about like the internet error of 404. 404 is like the internet programming error. Sorry. 403. Okay, let me see. It fluctuates. I am seeing 404. But maybe that's including me? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're over 400, right? Comrade Sammy popping out of the shadows. We're over 400. We did it, Comrade Sammy. Now you're going to tell me to do a 24-hour stream, which I will not do. Not yet. But thank you. Thanks, everybody. Congrats. Thank you. All because of everybody being here and helping out and spreading the word and just engaging. It's all because of you guys. If it was just me talking this whole time and inking 2 minutes for every 30 minutes that I talk, we wouldn't have 400 subscribers. So I give a lot of the credit to you guys and just helping me build this alongside me. It's been awesome, and I love that you guys all are here. I am. I'm gonna end it soon though, because it is a long stream. If I had planned this better, I would have. Let's see, 63. No, that's not right. If I had planned this better, knowing that we for sure would have hit 400 subscribers during the stream, maybe I would have done a 4-hour stream in honor of the 400 subscribers. But no, I will end it. I'll put you guys out of your misery soon. I'll ink this one dude, surprise dude. This is number 400, Mr. 400 back here. We're going to call him Mr. 400. And I will ink him, and then I'll end it, because I think we've made great progress today. Not only did we hit over 400 subscribers, woohoo, but we are figuring out this nib thing, and it's been pleasantly fun, or surprisingly pleasant is what I meant to say. Just practicing this, it's great. I got a lot more progress than I thought I would on the first go with the nib. I made a lot of progress on this page, so I'm super psyched, and psyched about how this can apply to the rest of the panels. So yeah, this will be a fun one. It'll be fun to see this finished next to the other pages that I've done a master study for, because those were all brush. But it'd be fun to see this next to it and see if you can like really tell the difference, which I'm assuming you would be able to, and just to compare them all. I did order another bulletin board for behind my head. So to cover this ugly gray electrical panel behind my head, I ordered a bulletin board. Hopefully that will fit in that space. And then I'm planning on putting up probably some of the master studies up there. I have them up on a bulletin board that's in front of my face right now. In this wall that I'm facing, but you guys can't see that. I look at it and am inspired by it, but you guys can't see it. So then I thought like, I hate the way that panel looks behind me, and it would be cool to have something to cover it up. And then I thought, I could get another bulletin board, and did some measurements. So I think that's coming this week, maybe. But hopefully that'll be cool to see some artwork behind, just to kind of make the space behind my head a little bit more interesting. It's like home decorating for YouTube. Both Shanth and Bancroft have great little like setups, and I'm sure it's taken them some time to like figure out like, where does the lighting go, and what do I want people to be looking at while I'm streaming, all that kind of stuff. Constantly assessing and reassessing. White balance. Like some pumpkin spice demons in my white balance. I gotta get that gray card Bancroft was talking about. Something. Ultimately, I need to get a better camera. But, you know, those things cost. There's always an artist edition that comes before a new camera in my book. It's scary how like these artist editions are becoming more and more popular too. Because there's a lot that just when I'm like, okay, I'm done, I finally got the one that I think, there's another one that'll come out. Like just recently, Rob Liefeld, one of the original Image founders and creator of Youngblood and Cable and Deadpool, he just announced he's doing an artist edition for Youngblood, which I'm really excited about. And a lot of people hate on Rob Liefeld for various reasons, for his artwork and whatever, but it's so part of my childhood, and I loved his artwork when I was a kid. So the idea of getting an artist edition of Youngblood would be amazing. And it also means that whatever publishing rights or something, because he lost control of Youngblood, or sold control of Youngblood many years ago, more than a decade ago, I think. And he always talks about how he regrets that and was unhappy with how that whole contract thing worked out. But for, I guess he's working or got the rights back, or is working with the people that own the rights or something, made some reconciliation with them. So that's how he's going to be publishing this artist edition. I'm really excited about that. But yeah, he just announced that and I'm like, oh shoot. I want to get that. That would be cool. See, like this guy's hairstyle is different. It's like spiky hairstyle. It's cool. Good for his ear. Is that it? Is that crazy guy in the corner? There we go. Stop. Just pick one. There we go. The white balance. All right. Buy the word balloon. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Monkey Boy. I'm. Let's go. Okay, let me see. Love the clipboard. Buy the word balloon. Oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'll make it look nicer. Looking good. Thanks, Katie. You're still here. Hello. Thank you so much. You're right. Forgot I popped in quickly at the beginning. Another mic. Sorry, Maggie. Aw. Oh my goodness. You can live stream Maggie jumping. I've seen some horrible videos people do of their pets, like things that make them like flinch or whatever. Horrible things. Like I've seen like aluminum foil with cats, or pickles. At one point there was this whole fad of filming scaring your cats with pickles. It was crazy. but it is funny sometimes. Oh, you guys are back because Gothic's just finished. John's here soon. I don't watch Gothics. Am I? John says. Oh my goodness. You guys are all shuffling back and forth. If he's not here already, he might be headed for dinner. I haven't checked Discord. I love it. You guys are crazy. Dang, light balance. I know. Mr. Monkey Boy, it depends on the viscosity of your ink, but most quality inks will give you some interesting effects. On vellum. That was the conversation, right? I would never tell you to do a 24-hour stream. Yeah, sure. I did, John. Look how far we got. Pretty cool, right? Ah, light balance, white balance. Stop it. If I put this here, will that help? If I put a paper towel? No, worse. I think it needs... There. That's better. That's the color I want. If you had planned this better. There's no such thing in my world. There's something in the air. Everyone is streaming today. Really? Going to Five Guys for dinner tonight. Nice. Five Guys. I do like Five Guys. I haven't eaten there in a while. I had Chick-fil-A for the first time in a long time. You know what they had at Chick-fil-A? It was a pimento jalapeno 'tis the season holiday version in Chick-fil-A. I'd never heard of that before. I text my brother-in-law, who's a huge Chick-fil-A fan, lives in Texas, and he was like, dude, you have not been to Chick-fil-A in a long time, obviously, if that is a surprise to you. And they also had, surprise, banana pudding shake, which, for those of you who are in the South, banana pudding's a big deal with the Nilla wafers. It's like a staple to... I don't know, is it like a holiday thing? But banana pudding, goodness. I gotta fix this before next stream because this is just driving me mad. I wonder, what if I pick a different color light? Oh, maybe it was just the reflection of the light. Look, that fixed it. Is that all I would have had to do? After all that. Sorry, America and Australia. But yes, Chick-fil-A. I guess that was their holiday menu. And I got both, and they were both really good. Do they have Chick-fil-A in Australia? I don't think so, Michael Bancroft. Do they have Five Guys? Maybe. Nib is greater than brush any day. Emo Trash, vote for the nib. Really? All right. Whatever gets you happy about inking, do it. Surprisingly, I've only ever had Five Guys once, but I'm doing all right, thanks. Playing solitaire. Yeah, I don't feel it. I gotta cook tonight, though. I got to. Getting sleepy. Katie's getting sleepy. Keep this. Yep. We were talking about them earlier. Ward them off. I do like apple cider. Camera's just fine. It's your content that will make or break you. Thank you, Antoine Dennison. And maybe the content will break me because I'm just complaining about the camera all day long. But thank you. I believe you. Oh, let me put this up as I start wrapping this up. This is, for those of you who weren't here, I want to figure out something that's like a little clipboard or a little post-it or something, because everybody's giving such great information, great links that fly by on chat for me. And sometimes I get them when I rewatch the show later, the stream. But sometimes I forget. And so I want to make sure I don't forget these things. So these are what I picked up this stream. Steve Parkhouse kanji character brushes. Maybe check that out, Emo Trash. A Dick Blick link that Shant gave me for some nibs that I should try out. And the very important Emu War of Australia that we need to read up on. Anything else I need to add to this? Emo Trash, do you know of the Emu War? It's very similar to your name, Emu War. Five Guys is good, but we have better burger places. Cucumber, not pickles. You know, I'll be honest, I did try it with a cucumber. My cats, they couldn't care less. They did not jump. I shouldn't have done it because I'm like, am I going to be one of those dumb people that follow the internet craze? But I was, just because I laugh so hard at those videos. Banana pudding shake, yes. Chick-fil-A. If you have Chick-fil-A near DC, check it out. It was really good, and there were bits of Nilla wafer in it, which I thought was like, well done, Chick-fil-A. Well done. It was good. It was really good. Chick-fil-A sandwiches are always too dry. Dude, that's why you put a lot of Chick-fil-A sauce. You just lather that thing up with Chick-fil-A sauce. But I will say the jalapeno pimento sandwich, pimento cheese, if you like it. My brother-in-law doesn't like it. That's what he let me know. But pimento cheese adds to the moisture level on a Chick-fil-A sandwich. So it was delicious. Banana pudding is delicious. It is. Yes. Go. I've done my duty. Go. 30 minutes away, which is bummer. Looks crystal clear to me. Awesome. Thank you, Michael Bancroft. And thank you for the tip about the gray card. I will. It might have been just been my lighting. I had the wrong amount of lighting. Did you see that shift? I had a wrong amount of lighting point. I can also change the temperature on my lighting. So maybe that was another option. See, that's more warm lighting, cooler lighting. Yeah. I'll play around with it. I'll figure it out one of these days. But thank you, Michael Bancroft. That means a lot to me. You have a lot of your experience, all your little tips. I love it. Thank you so much. I do. I gotta learn what works, what doesn't work. Because in the moment, I'm like, wow, that was cool. And then when I watch it back, I'm like, that was not good. Or I'll be like, you know what? Rocky, half the time you're inking off stream and nobody can see. Like, I don't learn unless I watch. So I'm trying to learn. It's just like when you do public speaking and you videotape yourself and go back and watch it to see what you can learn up. That's what it is. Maybe it is narcissistic. I love the way I look and sound on screen, so I just can't. No, not true. I hate them both. Yes. FYI, it's pronounced more like emu as opposed to emu. Emu. Thank you. Good tip. Good tip. I have not been to Australia. The closest I've been is Singapore. My wife is from Singapore. But we have not made the side trip to Australia, and I would love to. I've heard such great things about it. I have some relatives that are there, and I would love to, but I've never made it. But if we do, I will practice that pronunciation because I will have read up on the emu war, and I'll pronounce it better, not like a yank, and it'll be great. Some people don't like it. Some people don't like it, but I do. It's good. It's good. I like cheese. I like almost any form of cheese. So it's good. It's good on a chicken sandwich. It's really good. Mark's music obsession's on top of it. He knows how to pronounce it. Emu is equal to emu. It's like 25 minutes to Chick-fil-A. We just had one open up, well, not just, maybe like 3 years ago. That's like 10 minutes away from me. So I asked, it was just me and my daughter one night. And I said, what do you want to eat? And she was like, can we go to Chick-fil-A? And I was like, all right, let's do it. It was awesome. Oh my goodness. You're still about 9 hours from Melbourne and Singapore. Yeah, it's it's far. Australia is so big, but it's the closest I've gotten to Australia. So yeah, Limburger cheese. I believe I've had Limburger cheese on a burger, on an actual burger, if I'm not mistaken. So I do. Pimento cheese looks like terrible. It is kind of. It's made up of cheese. Like, it's just kind of like cheddar cheese with some like sugar and pimentos in it, isn't it? It's good. I like Laughing Cow cheese. Have you guys tried Laughing Cow cheese? It's like the spreadable cheese. When I grew up, I used to grow up on Velveeta cheese, which is not really cheese. I loved it. I love like the Velveeta sliced cheese, the slices in the plastic, you know? Used to eat that stuff, make shapes out of it, eat it. I love cheese. I really do. And I love the fancy cheeses. A good cheese platter. I'm all about that as well. All right, I'm hungry now. I did not eat lunch, and it is well past lunchtime for me. But how about it? We did it. We cracked the, what do you say? Not the crack the nut. I don't know. I don't want to sound vulgar, but we started the nib journey on this MOEBIUS page, and it went swimmingly well, I have to say. It was really fun to kind of feel it out and try it out and make the progress that we did. So I'm really surprised at how well that went. I was expecting ink to be spilling all over my page and dripping blobs of ink and all that kind of stuff. So maybe I got the right tool. Maybe I'm using better ink than I did when I was in college. Whatever it is, it's working out. Super excited of where we are. I got to go try and run to my comic book store today, so I don't think I'll be streaming a Wednesday comics after. That would be way too ambitious, I think. That would be way too ambitious. So I might not. But that means I delayed Absolute Wonder Woman even more. That will really make Adam, who is not here, but Adam will be upset about that because he was asking what happened to Absolute Wonder Woman. If you guys don't remember, I got it that one week. Then I had to stop my stream right before I went into the review, and I said I'd push it to next week. And then now I'm here, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. So that's okay. I don't know if I'll be able to stream again this week, but I will be working on finishing up the Absolute Batman video and posting that before the end of the week. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Did a closer look review on that and my thoughts on that, which, spoiler alert, I loved it. And yeah, and then we'll the next stream will be probably another inking stream. We'll hopefully finish up this middle panel, and I think I'll finish up this middle panel and then move on to the Galactus in the first panel. Then move on to the close-up head in the last panel, and then finish it up with the perspective, all the perspective buildings as the last thing. I think that's the order of events I'm going to do it in. Maybe. That's my plan so far. But we do have a few more stages to go. But it's going faster than I thought it would, and that's a huge plus. Yeah, I think it would have taken me longer if I approached this with brush. Maybe it's just because I'm still learning brush, but I'm still learning nib. So who knows? Whatever. Good stuff today, everybody. Thank you so much. And finally, we crossed the 400 threshold. I just refreshed 404. It says on my side, maybe 403 on your guys' side. Whatever the case, we passed 400, which is amazing. I can't thank you guys enough for that, and the YouTube world and everybody that checks in on these streams. I can't thank you enough for supporting me in that way. Spread the word. Please hit the like on the stream if you don't mind, and if you haven't subscribed and you like what you're seeing, enjoy the chatter about all sorts of stuff and watching the process of doing this master study, please do subscribe. Hit the notification. All that stuff helps, and it has helped us get to this point so far. So I mean, the next goal is 500, which is a big one. And we can debate, or we can negotiate, Comrade Sammy, about whether or not we'll do a 24-hour stream or not. What is the longest that you have streamed, Michael Bancroft? If you're still in the chat, let me know. I know you've done some long streams, but I can't even fathom a 24-hour stream. Like, I would die, and maybe that would be enough to do a stream. But yeah, I can't even fathom it. But we'll talk about it, Comrade Sammy. We still got to get there, but we're close, man. 500, super exciting to head that direction. Thank you, everybody that's been here. And let me just check the chat really quick. Cheese stuff. Ciao. Glad you watched the Berkeley. Yeah. Maybe I'm just better now. Possibly. Maybe. Happy Halloween. That's tomorrow. See how much off the radar that is for me. Happy Halloween, everybody. Hope you guys have a great Halloween and get some candy and see some cool costumes. I love the costumes. Is Rocky wrapping up? I am. I keep talking. All right. I'll wrap up. I'll see you guys later. Wait, did Michael Bancroft tell me what's the longest stream? Maybe he already left. Anyway, I'll find out another time from White Jetty. All right. See you guys later. Have a good day. Take it easy.